So I got my precast blocks, my anchor bolts, my ready mix. We're gonna get this all mixed up, then we'll scoop it into the blocks, set the bolts, and then so the reason I'm doing it this way, I figured it would actually be easier if I could be able to move the blocks around and get them to the hole in the track, rather than try to get the track to match where the blocks were set. It'll just be a little more versatile. And then in the future, if I ever need to adjust them again, I can always just move the block out of place, build up the dirt underneath, and put it back. Well, that almost went according to plan. Turns out one of the anchor bolts I got wasn't threaded. I don't know if that was supposed to be like that or if it just got shuffled into the wrong box. And then I think my 1-year-old might have walked off with another anchor bolt. So I'm too short now after I poured my concrete. But that's okay, I'll just get some threaded rod and then drill these after they set up and put some epoxy in there to hold them in, and it'll be the same thing. One tip I had really found that helps over the past couple years as I've been working with concrete is to kind of get it where you want it, you know, with the shovel, scoop it into place, but then just vibrate the top of it with the trowel, and it brings the water to the top, and it spreads out and kind of flows. So you kind of tap it and it'll flow out and fill in all the voids. Same with putting the anchor bolts in, jostle them up and down to get all the air bubbles, and the water will wrap around and suck around the bolt, and then the cement mixture will be with it too. Okay, so it's a couple of days later. We finally got a little bit of a break in the rain. As you can see, I got 2 of the sections of track already installed. They're pretty level. They're probably within a 1/2 inch of the same height, which is good. I got about 1.5 inches or so I can adjust on these anchor bolts. So today I'm gonna drill in these 2 where I didn't get the bolts installed. I have to drill into these a 1/2 inch hole, probably about 6-8 inches in, and I wanted to let them set up for a couple of days so that the concrete hardened, so it wasn't so crumbly in the middle. It's not fully hardened yet, but it'll be okay. And then I'll stick the bolts in there with some cement epoxy and get this. I gotta get the last section of track drilled. I gotta get the 4 holes in it. But so you can see from pouring the concrete on top of this plastic, it just peels right off. It didn't stick at all, and now I got this perfectly filled concrete cube. So that works really nice for not if I would have poured it right on the rock, rocks would have stuck to it and it would have seeped out a little more, I think. So now I've got these portable blocks I can kind of move into place as I need, and it's not as important that I place them in the exact right spot to begin with. I can kind of put them where I want, and you know, take the track back off and level it up again if it's not quite right. So I'm gonna go. So I found my other missing anchor bolt, and I'm gonna cut the end off it right now so I can stick it in the hole. And then I've got a 3/8 carriage bolt that I happen to have on hand, and I'm gonna cut off the end of that so I end up with a threaded rod, and I'll do the same for the other block. Alright, I got my cutting wheel and my vice grips. I'm going to cut the head off here, and then I'll glue it down in the hole. Okay, so now I've got this epoxy, masonry epoxy left over from last year building the woodshed, the rebar I glued into the rock for the foundation of that. Came with 2 mixing nozzles, so I've had the cap on it since, so it's about exactly a year old. I've had the cap on it, so hopefully it's still good. So I'm happy I haven't had to go into town. I have been able to fix this mistake with things I've had on hand around here, which is nice because it's about a 30-minute drive each way for us to go to a hardware store. And I just want to get enough to kind of hold it in place. It's not a huge, you know, structural load on top of it, so I'm not worried about it going anywhere. That'll do. Get the air bubbles out. And now this is up a little bit higher than the rest. Alright, so there we go. I think I'm going to let them set up for a day before I put the track on, just to make sure they harden up. Okay, so I got the track all leveled out using the laser. I waited till it was a little more overcast out so I could see the laser better. It's kind of hard to see it in the direct sunlight, but it's probably within at least a 1/16 of an inch, probably better. So that's plenty good for what we're doing. And the goal today is to get some lumber milled up. So hopefully our blade is still good because I don't have any extras on hand right now. But I got the mill all tuned up, fueled up, lubed up, so should be good to go. So here we have it, about 15 minutes worth of work, and I got about $250,000 worth of lumber. Not sure what the going rate is, but we definitely enjoy having this tool. This was kind of just a test run just to make sure it's cutting straight and the mill still works good and the blade's sharp, and probably going to cut a bunch of birch now. I think what we're going to do is cut they're green logs, and we're going to cut the four sides off them to leave big cants, big square beams, and we're going to paint the end grains with like a latex paint to keep them from drying out on the ends, and we're going to let them dry over the winter, and hopefully we end up with and then next spring or summer we can mill off boards and they'll already be dried, and hopefully keeping the ends painted like that will keep them from twisting and cracking too much as they dry out. They'll dry through the side grain then, and it should be more uniform. So yeah, I'm gonna keep milling lumber and getting firewood put away. All these side slabs make really good firewood. I'll cut those up after I collect a few. And so yeah, I'm gonna keep at it, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.